Good afternoon. It's Sunday. It is Sunday school. Not to be confused with Sunday school. I got surgery tomorrow. Um, yeah. Hopefully it'll fix some of my voice. I'm getting all my sinuses are closed. I haven't smelled anything in 2 years. It's hard to breathe. It's hard to talk. So I'm gonna try to fit in 3 videos today. Just they're too long to do one. There's one I want to do with the wife. If I drop one, it'll be that one because it depends on whether or not she wants to do that one. The first one I came across, I am definitely not the first one to come across this one, but there's a funny backstory to this one. Um, let me switch the screen up a little bit. Hang on. Okay, cool. Um, I also tried using headset. Went back and watched some of my videos, and I noticed I'm a little quiet. So I'm gonna put my mouth right here. Although that's a little too close. If I hit the mute button on accident, it's like right here. It's like right at the tip of the mic. So I'll try not to do that. Anyway, this is a guy named Marcus. If you follow Van Balion's page, and I put a link to his page in the description. Mainly, I'll add to the context of the background story with Van Balion here. I did not get this from Van Balion's page. There is one part of this I am going to get from Van Balion's page. This comes from this guy's own page. And somehow however I stumbled across this, the first thing I saw in the comments on one of these videos was Van Balion saying hi. So I went back and noticed that not only does he have a new video of this guy, which I think it might be this one, I don't know. But he's got a whole freaking playlist on this guy. So it seems like a healthy, funny disagreement slash rivalry on YouTube. But anyway, this is Marcus. If you follow Van, you've seen Marcus. Watch Marcus. If you find me before you find Van. Now, if you find me before you find Van, Van's definitely better with this whole videography thing. Check out his channel. It's pretty much exclusively geared towards sovereign citizens. I didn't intend to have so much sovereign citizens on my channel as I do, but it seems to be trending that way. Uh, Two of my streams today are probably going to be sovereign citizen based. And then I'm going to try to get more back toward body cam. I'm in Colorado. I'm trying to find more Colorado body cam. But it seems like everybody's getting arrested in Florida, so I don't think I can avoid it. Anyway, without further ado, let's watch Marcus get pulled over. Can't see my chat either. Where is my chat? Better if you see things more. Oh, there it is. I'm gonna keep an eye on this chat because if anybody jumps in and out, I'm gonna make you say hi in the comments by saying, please say hi in the comments. All right, so Marcus, just got an awesome haircut, so I like him already. Rolling up the windows, reclining in the seat, turning on his timer, adjusting his camera. Let's look at the mirror.
This dude right here, right? Because I said I was in a threat dressing person. He thought he didn't need to pull up. Oh, let me just get him there.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Yeah.
Come on, talk to me.
No, I'm good.
Huh?
I'm good. I gave her my information,
Yeah.
and I'm cooperative.
Okay, I need you to step out of the vehicle
For what?
because you're under arrest.
For what?
Driving recklessly.
I'm sorry?
Get on the car now, please.
I was cooperative and I gave her my information.
I can't hear you. Speak up.
I said I was cooperative and I gave her my information and
Get
you
on
took
the
my
vehicle.
ticket.
You're under arrest.
For what?
Huh?
For what?
For speeding. Just told you that.
She's giving I gave her my information.
Huh?
I think she gave me a ticket.
You can also get a ticket, yes, but you're also under arrest.
Sorry?
You are under arrest. Get on the
For what?
I just told you.
For what crime? That's not a crime though. I gave. I know. I gave her my
Get on the
information.
vehicle. Sir, is there anything I can do to convince you to step out of the vehicle?
Well, no. I'm just.
Huh?
I gave her my information. She's giving me a ticket. And
Okay. Is there anything I
This
can
is
do to
offered-
convince you to step out of this vehicle?
I'm sorry.
Is there anything I can do to convince you to willingly step out of the vehicle?
I just don't understand why I'm stepping out of the vehicle. I was
I want
cooperative.
you to step out of the vehicle and talk to us.
I'm talking to you right now.
Yeah, you're gonna step out of the vehicle and talk to us.
I'm talking to you right now. No, I'm talking.
Huh?
I'm talking to you right now.
Speak up, man. I can't hear you.
I said I'm talking to you right now,
Yes,
and
you're
I'm
gonna step out of the
cooperative.
vehicle
Why not step out of the vehicle?
because you're under arrest.
All right. So this guy said I'm under arrest
Huh?
because this guy says I'm under arrest. I'm recording you right now because you're violating your oath. Can you get your supervisor, please?
Step out of the vehicle now.
Get your supervisor, please.
Huh?
Get your supervisor, please.
You can call him later. Get out of
No,
the vehicle.
you can call him.
Get out of the vehicle now.
Sir, stop. Stop. Sir.
Alright. Step out of the vehicle now.
For what?
Step out of the vehicle now.
It's like he didn't crack the window enough.
Stop. Let me turn my automobile off.
Step
Let
out
me
of the
turn my
vehicle.
automobile off.
Step
I'm
out
going
of
to
the
turn my
vehicle.
automobile off.
Okay. Step out of the
Okay.
vehicle.
Is that cool?
Yep, sure.
Okay.
Step out of the vehicle.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right. So this is an unlawful arrest.
Come on.
Stop.
Step out of the
Sir.
vehicle.
What's your name?
Trooper Degner. Step out of the vehicle.
Call your officer.
Step
call
out of the vehicle now.
Sir.
I'm gonna
Call
ask you
your
one last time.
I'm going to tell you. Call your. Stop. Sir. Call your superior.
I'm gonna get out. I'm getting out. Relax. Relax. Relax.
Look at this. Look at this.
Relax. Relax. Relax.
And if you're new to following body cam videos, an officer can lawfully ask you out of the car during a traffic stop.
Relax. Stop resisting. Relax.
Really for no reason.
Relax. Relax. You know you guys are getting
However, in this case, he started by saying he was arrested, so he definitely needs to get out of the car.
arrested, right? Hey, you know you guys job is over, right? You know that, right? You know your job's over, right? Hey. I'm so glad you guys. Hey, relax.
Charles,
I'm so glad you have this. Hey guys, you know that?
That's 16.
Your job's over. Your job is over.
From my understanding, they weren't at the end of their shift, and they still have their jobs.
Hey, your job's over, right?
Charles.
What's your name?
I already told you my name. I'm Trooper Roman Gina.
What? Gina? And you, sir? You, sir. What's your name, sir?
He already told you his name's Trooper Degner.
All right. Degner? Trooper Degner? Okay, thanks. Let's get him up on the roadway before we can walk over this lane. You guys are both not at your job. Okay, let's go. All right, make sure pick up my camera. Pick up my camera. Stand my camera. You smell bad, dude. You smell bad.
They're just telling each other they smell bad.
Put down the camera. Put down the camera. Turn it on. Pick up my camera off the ground. Oh, well, bit. Pick it up off the ground. Not a concern. It is a concern to you. It should be a concern to you. I'll get a little bit. Nope. Too good.
Alright, you can't really hear him here. I didn't watch too much of this first video. I'm guessing Marcus is on the ground right now, but I can't tell you that 100%.
I would absolutely.
Alright, let's see how his phone gets flipped.
Huh? It's
I
recording.
already called it.
Oh. Yeah, I know.
So normally I would just stop the video and go to the next one, but then I realized he was still recording, and I haven't watched this full thing, but I did skim through it and realized that the officer picked it up knowing it was recording and left it recording, and then tossed it in his. No, actually, I think this is still Marcus's car.
Yeah.
I'll take care of this.
You hear better now.
700. You're gonna need your shirt. That could have hurt.
Yeah.
And a baton.
Yeah.
Are you taking his wallet?
Anything else in there?
He smells like alcohol.
Oh,
Like he's been drinking. I would absolutely ask him if he wants to do SMSTs in the Sally Port. Oh god. Cell phone, rolling paper, condoms. Somebody sleeps in this guy? Matches.
Did you hear that, Marcus?
Coffee maker. Weird. Random stuff. Various business cards. Marcus works at the College River Club. Some Advil, a knife, baton.
He's got a
I guess to see
baton.
if I can stay in the car. Cell phone, GoPro. Clorox wipes, a jack, a blender bottle. Super greens, blankets. Backpack with some a whole bunch of sovereign citizen stuff.
I wish he would list off that stuff.
And a jack. Yes. For the record, I really think we're working people out here. Like, we were finding the number 2
too late. I'm like, oh, we're still gonna get waffled out here. This is gonna hurt. Golf clubs, extension cords, blankets. In the aspect that he was not going to go in handcuffs willingly, yes. Or get out of the car willingly or anything of these laws.
So resisting.
Can of beans. Got a can of beans.
Can of beans.
That's no. It is not. It is an actual can of baked beans. That was doing 106. It was? Yes. What the heck? I didn't expect this.
Okay, so the cop said he was pulled over. So the reason I've been so quiet, I've been looking up the law. It's typical that you can't get arrested for a traffic citation, but you can get arrested for reckless driving. He just said he was doing 106. I don't know the speed limit. They might or might not say it, but that's clearly why he started off by saying you're arrested or you're going to jail. I imagine he doesn't have license plates either. We'll get a little more familiar with Marcus in the next few videos. You should probably give the dude his phone though. He's got to call somebody.
He's a server. Can't forget his GoPro Hero. It's probably another beating instrument. Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of laws for agriculture. Here it is. Okay, that's Marcus number 1. Let me just move some stuff around real quick. Okay, so that's Marcus number 1. Let me find Marcus number 2 through 10 real quick. Now, so like I said just a minute ago, the officer started by saying he's under arrest. So it's a common misconception that you cannot be arrested for a traffic violation. So I'm not sure what state he's in. I just went through my state. It looks like anything traffic, for the most part, is under the misdemeanor category. Things that you can be lawfully arrested for. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pages of traffic laws that are in the misdemeanor category that you can be arrested for. So there's quite a few out there. Now most of them have to do with drugs and alcohol or fraud, as it relates to fraudulently carrying a CDL or somebody else's driver's license or having a fake driver's license. But yeah, there's 6 pages of laws in my state that you can be arrested for under the traffic category. All right, so That's Marcus. He was arrested. He was arrested pretty quickly. It looks like he was going 106. So I'm guessing the charge was reckless driving. I don't have a follow up on this one. I think that video is the newest one, if I'm not mistaken. So when I followed this rabbit hole, I found a whole bunch of Marcus. So here's Marcus on a different traffic stop.
So I keep my information up here.
He's soft spoken like I am too, so turn up the
You guys are
volume.
not in danger.
Got to get the script. Oh, what do you give him?
Driver's license, sis? It's the one that in your hand. You got two?
Yeah, they were both issued different times. It's the same state.
Why could you have two driver's licenses? You typically get rid of the one that's the oldest.
One was probably issued. One was probably issued, not canceled. But I just keep them both on me just in case, because I don't know. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. I've never
All
seen
good.
it
All
before.
good.
Yeah. Yeah, sure, sis.
One might be canceled. One might be valid. But
Marcus, that's actually pretty smart. Now, my state says that you have to surrender any of the old ones. So if you go and get another one based on losing your driver's license, I mean, misplacing it, then you have to basically just get rid of the old one or surrender it. But I don't think, I'm not sure if it's unlawful. But even if it is, I doubt that police would cite you for that one.
both on me because I'm not sure.
Gotcha. And your
You came
insurance?
earlier?
Huh?
In Bluffton? I thought I saw you earlier.
Do you have insurance?
Yeah. I
Earlier,
probably just gave you my insurance with the red.
Registration.
he's got registration. Okay,
So
that answers
State
that
Farm.
maybe. If you've seen any of my recent videos, we're starting to see more sovereign
Just go ahead
citizens
and
with insurance.
work on pulling that up. I'll be back
Yep,
with you. Okay?
State Farm. Yeah, I have a digital thing. If
Okay.
not, on paper.
Yeah, just stay in the car and pull
I
it
got you.
Just hold your hand out the window when you have it pulled up, okay?
Yeah. You guys came up to Hampton Lakes earlier.
Yeah, because we had a call that there might have been something going on. Yeah.
Oh, you did?
We were
Yeah,
going
I
there.
thought I recognized him, so I just want to make sure because I recognized you from there earlier.
Okay. Yeah. I don't
What'd
think
you
we
do
saw
earlier,
each
Marcus?
other.
I think I saw him. You guys weren't with him?
Okay. Is that a knife right there?
I'm sorry?
Is that a knife by your hand?
Yeah, but
Just keep your hands on the steering.
yeah, I got you.
know?
I got you.
I appreciate it. We'll be right
No,
back.
you're good. Yeah.
Again, nice haircut, Marcus.
Hey, Pepe.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we're good. So earlier, I was a private situation with my coworkers.
No. Listen, they let you go?
No, just checking my information. Everything's legit. I just feel that they might have been harassing me for earlier, but because I recognize the one guy from earlier.
Where did you know this?
Well, they came over to Hamptons, and we were all barbecuing on the private property, and they came up and tried to say something about an automobile that was outside a white GMC that they said had the odor of marijuana. But we were all inside, and nobody was at my automobile. Nobody was smoking anything. We were all inside, so to me, they were just harassing somebody that was out there. No, I left there, I came over, and I was going home, and they pulled me over now, and I recognized the one officer as someone that pulled me over earlier, but all my stuff is legit.
Okay, so you got nothing to worry about.
No, I shouldn't have anything to worry about, unless they're trying to be unlawful, which they could be, but...
No, listen, to make sure they don't need you, keep it there on
No,
low profile.
I'm legit. I'm just trying to find out, so I'm just outside the gate, my information is legit, I'm registered, everything's straight. I'm just
You
looking.
you just make sure that only you don't piss nobody off because you don't want to piss anybody off.
I'm being lawful. I'm just looking for my insurance information because I have a digital copy, but I'm just trying to find the digital copy. Hold on. I had it earlier.
Just be cool, bro. Be cool. Don't make nobody nervous.
Hold on, I'm going to show them my insurance information. I have the insurance information. It's right here. All right, here it is. It says February 1st. Yeah, I'm available offline. It says valid August 1st, 2024.
Wait, go back to it. I just wanted to make sure that's the
Okay,
GMC.
okay. 2017 GMC
Okay.
train.
Sweet.
Yeah, I have I didn't print out the physical copy.
Yeah.
But I got pulled over like a few months ago and I showed them it was digital.
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
think it's
yeah.
right here. Oh, there it is. I just didn't print the physical copy. I should have done that, but there you see it says.
Yeah, no worries. Marcus, I'm gonna be honest with you. I smell a little bit. I smell weed coming from your car. You have marijuana in the vehicle?
No, I don't. No.
You don't?
No.
Have you smoked in your car before? Because I'm
No, I don't
getting very
understand
strong odor from your car.
No, I don't understand why you would smell that.
I wouldn't understand either. Cause
Yeah, I know. You understand when you came earlier at my friend's house and you were trying to say that you smelled it too. Earlier at Hampton Lakes.
Yeah, at the Hampton
Yeah,
Lakes.
when you stopped me earlier and trying to implicate yourself, and then you guys followed me from there.
I wasn't implicating anything. I was telling you.
Yeah, I talked to you at the door.
I was telling you what I factually knew.
Yeah, what you thought
smell.
factually from.
Go ahead and step out of the vehicle.
For what?
I forgot. It's stamped all over his videos. He's from South Carolina.
Because I smell the odor of marijuana coming from your car. So.
Hey, Pepe. They're
Were you drinking tonight too? Because there's a open container of alcohol on the floor.
No. Let me just put my windows up. I'm stepping out. I'm just gonna
I know you got a knife in there.
I'm just gonna secure my automobile. That's all.
Don't reach for that one.
I'm not. I'm just putting my windows up. Secure my automobile.
I didn't blur out the DL because it's blurry by the angle.
Go ahead and turn around. Do you care if I pat you down for any weapons?
I don't.
You give me consent?
I guess it pat me down, not consent for any unlawful search or seizures.
I'm just patting you down for any weapons.
Okay, no weapons. No weapons.
Do you give me permission to pat you down for weapons?
All right. For what? For what? Crime?
I'm asking you if you're giving me permission.
Yeah. For what crime? What lawful crime are you pulling me over?
I'm not saying you committed a crime.
So you don't have a crime you're pulling me over for?
No, it's just a yes or no.
You
yes
can pat me down for weapons. Yeah.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and step in front of my vehicle, please.
No weapons, right?
Yeah.
All right. So.
I just go ahead and step in front of my vehicle.
Right
here,
in the front.
Right here.
Okay.
You're good. I need to search your vehicle.
No.
So I saw you locked it.
Yeah, because I don't give you a.
You don't need to. When I have probable cause that I smell
What's the probable
marijuana.
cause?
Hang on. Listen. Hang on.
No, I hear it. I hear it's probable cause.
Hang on.
So I mean, the opposite is correct, right? If you smell marijuana, they don't need your permission to search his car. I don't technically agree with this one, but oh, I mean the case law. I mean case law is case law.
You'll be able to hang on. Let me speak first, and then
But then again, it goes under the same concept as alcohol. I guess my point is, you can think you can. The reason why I don't agree with it, I think I was 18, 19 years old. I had this like, I was driving home from college for, I don't know if it was for the weekend or for the holiday or for the summer, and I am not a marijuana smoker, and I've never really have been. And I got pulled over, and I had some sort of like foresty smelling air freshener in my car, and I got pulled out of my car. I didn't get physically I got asked to step out of my car. The cop had me stand like 150 feet behind my car. Um, oh, I was going snowboarding. I had all my snowboard gear in the car. Yeah, I when I go snowboarding, I have like three different bags. Just because I have all different stuff for different weather conditions. And so he spent like a half hour going through my car, and I'm sitting there like, he's not gonna find anything. He's not gonna find anything. But I got treated pretty poorly, and it's all because he said he smelled the odor of marijuana, and in that car or any other car I've ever had, there was no marijuana. There never has been any marijuana. Now, I'm still very against anything a sovereign citizen stands for, but you know, Marcus has got a driver's license, registration, and insurance, so let's just keep going with this.
I have probable cause to search a vehicle because I smoke the odor of marijuana coming from it.
I rebut the presumption
I
of
don't
law.
need your permission.
I rebut.
Oh, I should probably give you a conclusion to that story. I think I got a speeding ticket. Maybe. If I did, it wasn't a big one.
The presumptions of law.
I don't need your permission.
I rebut that. Do you know the presumptions of law that I'm rebutting?
I'm telling you, I don't.
Do you know the 12 presumptions of law that I'm rebutting? The 12 presumptions of law.
Let's look it up.
You have a solicitor that's prosecuting us, right? A solicitor. At the courthouse, you have a solicitor, right? It's a solicitor, not a DA, not a prosecutor, a solicitor. They have absolutely no equity. Do you understand the 12 presumptions of equity? You don't.
I don't
I
understand.
would have
All right. I take back any doubt I just had of the sovereign citizen thing.
advised you get an attorney right now.
I don't understand what you're saying.
You should understand.
It's not making any sense.
The solicitor understands what I'm talking about. That's why there's a cancel case.
I'm telling you.
What's your name? Mr. Young. I recognize you from earlier.
I don't really know if we have solicitors. I mean, it could be a state thing. We have lawyers, but here are the 12 presumptions of law, according to Google AI, because I'm not going to read the full document. Number 1, presumption of public record. Any matter brought before a lower Roman court is presumed to be a matter of public record, but in practice, it's presumed to be private bar guild business. Number 2, presumption of public service. Members of the private bar guild are presumed to be public servants acting on behalf of the government. Okay, sure. 3, presumption of public oath. Guild members are sorry, the word guild, it just keeps throwing me off. Members are presumed to be bound by public oath rather than their private guild oath. Okay. I'm trying to read these as if the word Roman wasn't in the first one. Number 5, presumption of summons. A summons presumed to establish jurisdiction and custody over the individual summoned. Number 6, presumption of custody. A summons or warrant of arrest is presumed to place the individual in custody. Number 7, presumption of court guardians. Individuals are presumed to be under guardianship of the court. 8, presumption of court of trustees. The court is presumed to be acting as a trustee over the individual. Oh, so this is actually making some sense. There's a lot of research under the future series that will become Sovereign Citizen 101 or Sovcit 101. But there's a lot of clarification I need under the whole trustee thing. This is bringing a little clarity to that. So does number 9, presumption of government as executor beneficiary. The government is presumed to be acting as the executor and beneficiary of the individual's estate. Number 10, presumption of executor descent tort. If an individual, sorry, I know I just said a Latin phrase in a somewhat Spanish accent. If an individual takes actions related to an estate, they are presumed to be acting as an executor, even if they lack proper authority. Number 11, presumption of incompetence. Individuals are presumed to be incompetent and unable to represent themselves. Well, that's true on so many levels. And I think you can do more than presume. Number 12, presumption of guilt. Individuals are presumed guilty until proven innocent. So, obviously not applicable.
I recognized you from earlier when you're harassing us earlier. You're on camera right now. I'm going to tell you. You don't know the presumptions of law. I'm going to tell you. Because you don't know.
Marcus.
Where's your supervisor?
You're on camera too. We're getting.
That's cool. Where's your supervisor?
He's coming.
Right
You
there.
can bring him over.
Yes.
I'll talk to him.
But we do have probable cause to search the vehicle.
You don't have probable cause. I'll talk to your supervisor.
The open container of alcohol is not probable
I don't.
cause.
That's not an open container of alcohol.
Really? An open truly on the floor is not an open container of alcohol.
Is there alcohol in it?
It's now.
It's not for me. It's not for me.
It's an alcoholic beverage.
You were driving the vehicle.
Doesn't matter.
He locked
Doesn't
his
matter.
I was going to search the vehicle.
What's the issue?
All right. So I saw you earlier.
Yes, sir.
Can we talk over here?
We can talk right here. If you
Okay. So he's saying there's an open, whatever he's proclaiming,
Okay.
right?
Yes, sir.
So I'm sure that when you harassed us earlier at the private place that you talked to us earlier,
Okay.
when you tried to get me at the door and tried to get to,
I was not trying. I was trying to speak with you. That was all. But go ahead.
now I would have spoke to you. I would have spoke to you, but at that time I felt you were trying to harass my employees because they're not from the state,
Okay.
and they were trying to go right. That's why you stepped off. Now I left there and you followed me here, right?
I didn't follow you here, sir.
You did. You did.
Me
Okay.
personally?
No, not you personally. Them. This, Mr. Young.
Well, go
Because
ahead. Go where you were getting.
all right. So my point is, I pulled in here. So, why'd you pull me over? What crime did you pull me over for?
I told you the reason for the stop.
Okay. What crime?
When you use the turn signal and you change lanes, you didn't use 150 feet. And
150.
I also saw you go
That's
over
the
the
public
white
side of
line.
things.
Hang on. I also saw you go over the...
No, I'm talking about school
Are you
equity.
going to ask why I stopped you and then
I don't care about
interrupt me?
that. I don't care about that.
I gave you 2 reasons why I
Yeah,
stopped
you're talking
you.
about the public side.
All right.
I'm talking about equity in the courts.
All right.
Because the
Mr.
courts know me,
What's your name, sir? I'm sorry.
Marcus.
Marcus.
Marcus of the Cross
go ahead,
family.
Where you were.
All right, now I'm talking about equity, right?
So, Margaret, you need sets of reasons. I mean, he's going to pull you over based on the same things that he uses to pull anybody over. And by now, you know, it's arbitrary. I've got nothing clever right now, but I must be tired. He pulled you over for a traffic citation relative to state law and statute and code.
There's nobody in the highway. I don't know what he's talking about as far as he's talking about. I don't know what he's talking about.
Okay.
I'm pulling into my friend's house.
Yes, sir.
He pulled me over. As far
However, I do have to say that was a pretty clever move, getting out of the car and locking the doors and putting the keys in your pocket.
as I know, because I don't know anything lawfully, any crime that I committed.
Okay.
As far as I know, he's following me and harassing me again.
Okay. So he's stating he pulled you over because you failed to signal for 150 feet before you
I
changed
don't know
lanes.
anything about that.
Okay, that is a traffic violation.
That's
in
a
the state of South Carolina.
that's a complaint, not a lawful claim.
Okay. Okay.
Right? You guys took an oath, right?
Sir, so that's a
You guys took an oath to protect the Constitution, right?
yes. Sir.
Right. So nothing you're talking about has to do with anything that has to do with the oath to the Constitution,
So,
right?
So it's a
Right.
traffic violation in the state of South
But you
Carolina.
understand what I'm talking about,
So
right?
Florida, South Carolina.
You understand as far as
I understand
equity,
where you're coming from.
right? So we shouldn't have
So
having
I'm
a
trying to work.
Wrong. They took an oath to up Constitution, not only the U.S. Constitution, but the Constitution of South Carolina, which includes all local statutes, laws, and codes.
Right. So as far as side of what we're talking about, there's nothing else to talk about unless I hurt somebody.
There's no crime, obviously, that you hurt somebody, right?
Right. So there's no crime. So why can I proceed in private, right upon the fence to my friend that I'm about to go to and settle it down for the night?
Okay. So
That's all I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying.
Now, the last situation I got in, they canceled the case. They didn't bring a case for it.
Okay, so
I don't want to take it any further, but I don't know what he's talking about. All I know is he's harassing me from the last place I went to.
Marcus, so this is how I'm going to explain to you, okay?
Okay. Yes.
All right? The most respectful way I can.
Mhm.
All right? Per South Carolina law, if we...
Legal codes,
if we
not
smell-
law. You took an oath
Okay. So if
to the
we-
Constitution.
All right, let me
Right?
finish, please.
Article 3, Section 3.
All right.
There's nothing you're saying past Article 3,
Marcus.
Section 2, Clause 2 that has anything to do with what you're saying.
Marcus, let me finish. You mind?
Go
All right?
ahead.
Thank you.
I
He
apologize.
smells... No, you're fine. He smells the odor of marijuana emanating
I don't know what he's
emitting
talking
from your
about.
vehicle,
I don't know what he's
okay?
talking about.
He also sees an open alcohol container on the floorboard
Marijuana?
on the passenger side of your vehicle,
It
okay?
has to do with marijuana.
I'm giving you two separate things,
Yeah,
okay?
but the probable
Now-
cause is the marijuana, which is not.
All right,
Nothing.
Again, Marcus, I'm going to let you speak, but let me finish, okay?
Okay.
All right? That gives him probable cause to search
It's
your
not
vehicle.
probable cause.
Okay? Again, let him
According
do what
to
he's
code.
going to do.
I'm not going to let
If he
him do
writes
it.
you a
I'm not.
citation
Okay.
or anything for it afterwards, you can go to court, take it up with the judge, and we can go from there.
Sure, but I'm not going to allow you to violate your oath to do that. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying?
I don't.
You should. You should, because your chief knows.
Okay. Well, my sergeant is on his way. You can speak with him, okay?
Okay.
Is that fine?
Yeah.
The one that's
Can
in
I wait?
charge of the road, I'm not the first in charge.
Fair enough.
He's
Fair
pulling
enough.
up right now.
Fair enough.
I'll have
Fair
him come
enough.
up and speak with you.
Fair enough.
All right.
I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
One
sir.
moment, all right?
Sure. Can I go over here with him?
Just stay here until they come up. I
Fair
appreciate
enough.
it.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
What's your first name?
I don't need.
I'm going to save most of the crime requires a victim. Well, in this case, a crime does require a victim. In this case, the victim is the city of whatever city he's in, the state of South Carolina, right? And he's going to argue that the state can't be a victim. Blah blah blah. I'll get into that more in the Sovcit 101. But if you look up the what constitutes a crime or a lawful arrest, the element does include reducing risk of injury, harm, ... which is typically covered under the logic and reasoning for traffic statutes.
I don't
You
need
do. You're a public official. You need to identify yourself.
That I don't.
Your code says so.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm the only
So,
young
so
officer.
this is the only young officer that doesn't know his oath or know that he's supposed to.
So in this case, it was, as long as we're playing the definition game, so he just said his code requires them to identify themselves. Since sovereign citizens like to get very specific with definitions, and sometimes they make them very broad if it benefits them, in most cases that's not true. In this case, he's using the word code. He's saying your code requires you to identify yourself. In this case, no, the code does not require him to identify himself. His policy probably does, but not his code.
Identify yourself.
I'm the only young that works for Bluffton PD.
That doesn't have anything to do with me. I don't know who you are. I didn't elect you, right? You're not elected, right? You're not elected, right? That means you're not a public official. You're not elected. This is about oath keeping. See the thing on the back of my car? Oath keeping, sworn servants, check their oath. See that right there?
Marcus.
See this here? This is
Marcus,
I don't care
this
about
is my
that.
sergeant. Marcus, this is my sergeant, Sergeant Perkins.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Oh, you got
I
the
do.
supervisor there.
Yes, sir.
Can you please hang right? Can you hang
Yeah,
right?
okay.
I appreciate it. What's going on?
So just for our production.
Yeah.
So the officer here was at an earlier private conjugation I was with my coworkers, and I feel that he's harassing me right now because when I left there earlier, I had an exchange with him and the officer right there, where they didn't have any real probable cause. They took an oath.
Real quick, I'm gonna pause. Do you
Okay.
have And no one's frisked
I
you?
don't. They frisked me already.
Okay.
They frisked me already.
You were
Yeah.
he was frisked?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
all right.
Yep.
You can put your hand in your pocket then.
So I apologize.
No
Yeah, so
problem.
nothing alarming. So my thing is this: I've already been in several situations with this department with harassment, and he's trying to gain probable cause based off of whatever superficial evidence he can get prior to.
So from what I understand with that incident before,
He says he smelled marijuana, and then he's
so
saying.
we were called because of the marijuana. We didn't just show
So
up.
you were called.
We were called.
While I was
Security
pulling in
guard.
here.
I'm going to explain everything to you,
Okay.
right? So we were called because of the white GMC that was driving around smelling like marijuana. From a
Right here?
No, this was earlier. The incident.
I don't know what you're talking about earlier.
This was the incident you were referring to.
No, I'm talking about right now. He pulled me over because he said, "What?"
The reason you were pulled over is because you failed to signal 150 feet prior to changing lanes.
Okay, yeah. This has nothing to do with what you're talking about earlier.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
You just said you had a congregation with your friends.
That was me that said, but
Right.
this has nothing to do with now.
Okay.
I'm just giving what I think is harassment.
Okay.
So now you're saying that this has something to do with earlier?
Yeah. So earlier we were told about marijuana.
Okay,
And
so
this is coincidence now because it's you again. So
it's not coincidence. It's
no,
you.
it is coincidence because
Oh, it is
you
coincidence.
were referring to
Now it's
before
coincidence.
is what I said is what I thought you were talking about. You said congregation earlier, right? So from what I understand, there was a congregation earlier where there was marijuana involved. Now,
No, there wasn't a congregation where there was marijuana involved.
That's from our end. There was. When you said congregation, I thought that's what you were referring to. So now
I'm not sure what you were
he
referring
pulled
to.
you over. Right?
I'm not sure what you're referring to as early as marijuana.
Is marijuana illegal in South Carolina? I'm assuming it is.
Right now, from what I understand, he pulled you over because he failed to signal within 150 feet.
Right,
Now he smells marijuana.
Where?
I don't know exactly where. I just got here, but that's
Right,
what I
but
understand.
so that's what I'm trying to understand is you're talking about 150 feet from where? What stop that I didn't?
Before you actually made the lane
Where?
change. Wherever you made the lane change. I don't know exactly.
Right, that's
where
what
it
I'm
was.
trying to understand.
Prior to turning onto Oakwood Highway
Okay, so
from Bluffton Parkway.
Recreational and medical is illegal in South Carolina.
okay, that's what I'm trying to think. What's the articulable criminal offense that articulated the stop?
Right, that is it right there. Probably
Right, that's not a
for the
criminal offense.
unsafe
That's a
lane.
civil offense.
Right, so now the criminal
It's
offense
civil
is
in
that
nature.
we smell marijuana. So they
Right,
pulled you
but
over for the
something
statute.
civil in nature that's not criminal.
Are you gonna let me explain? Because
No,
if you want to
I understand
I'll
the.
explain
I
it.
already understand the law.
They
I'm
pulled
asking
you
you
over.
because I want to
They
understand.
pulled you over,
Yeah.
right? Because you failed to.
You hear it. All right, this is part one of this traffic stop. What do you think is going to happen, Marcus? What do you think is going to happen with Marcus? Now, any state that does legalize marijuana does not allow you to drive in the same ways that the alcohol is illegal, right? You can't have from my understanding, if you buy weed from a weed store, it needs to be in a sealed container and packaged. You definitely can't smoke it in the car. You can't smoke it before you
Right, it's not a
drive.
criminal offense.
All right, here, I got the rest of it. You guys would rather watch that than me anyway. I'm a little slow today. I'm sorry.
Right, it's not. No, it's a traffic statute.
Right, it's not criminal.
Still here.
Right.
Now we smell marijuana in the vehicles. That's
Right.
what he's searching for.
Marijuana?
Okay, so he's
Right,
going
but
to do that.
He's not going to do that.
He is going to do that. We don't need your.
Because
If he smells
you
marijuana,
do
we
you
don't
do
need your
because your offense initially is not criminal.
And you
And
can.
So this is the part I don't like. So Marcus is saying that he's not going to do it. Supervisor saying that he's going to do it. But they still just sit around and talk about it. I know that the officer is basically just trying to talk him into getting the keys because the doors are locked. But there's other ways to search his vehicle without getting the keys. You don't need to stand there and talk about it for 45 minutes.
No, you took
You
an
can
oath
argue
to it.
that all day.
We can argue it. We get the court's
And
going
you
to
can
stop.
you can go to court with that.
Oh, we can.
But that's what's gonna
Right.
happen.
And they have PC. Probable cause.
But you took an oath.
So there's two ways
I'm
that
not
this
gonna
can
consent.
happen. You don't have to consent. He's gonna do it.
You can do what you want unlawfully.
And
on
if
camera.
If you feel it's unlawful, it's fine.
Dude, I know this court case is going to stop because you did it before. And
like I said,
cool.
you'll have your day.
You can do whatever you want unlawfully.
Is there anything in the bar that we have to worry about?
I'm not.
Okay, all right. So he's gonna search your car.
You can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want unlawfully and
We're
illegal.
gonna hang right here, okay?
You can do whatever you want unlawfully and illegal.
He locked his car and he's got the car keys.
Okay, so if he smelled the marijuana, he's gonna be able to search the car. So we can
He's
handcuff
not.
you and take the keys.
You can do whatever you want unlawfully and illegally. You can.
You feel that way?
Okay. I'm gonna keep it on camera.
That's absolutely fine.
Can I have your car keys, please?
So you want me to
Yeah.
allow you to violate my rights?
You can unlock the vehicle. That's it. That's all you
Can you
got.
unlock it, please?
For what?
So I can search it.
For what? You want me to consent to search?
You can unlock it.
I don't consent to search, and there's no marijuana.
Okay, no
we don't
worries.
need the consent.
Okay.
Go ahead. Turn around. Hang on, don't press up on
You want to let go of this? I'll point this so we can continue to record. Absolutely. Sir, can you let go of this? I'll even put it down so it can continue to record. All right. Say it's recorded. Go ahead. Put it. You let it record him. Say it's keeping on him. All right.
Marcus, I'll get
Do you
you.
have any marijuana on you? Because I smell it off of you too.
I don't care what you think you smell.
Okay.
You have an agricultural bill, right?
Say what?
You have an agricultural bill. You don't know about your hemp agricultural bill. Yeah, you need to fire every officer here. You know that, right?
If that's something
You
want
have
to
a
see
hemp.
happen,
You have a
you'll
hemp
have a day in
agricultural bill.
court.
No.
You'll have a day in court.
No, there's not a day in court. You have an agricultural and hemp bill, right? I know you do, right? I'm looking at you, right?
Okay.
And you.
Do you have hemp on you? Under
Do
this
you have a
agriculture?
hemp and agricultural bill?
I'm not familiar with the hemp and agriculture.
You're not familiar.
Maybe
Then you
can
need to be
explain
fired.
it.
You need to be fired.
Can you explain it to me?
I don't need to explain the law to you.
I want to know about it.
How do you
You're
not
willing
know?
to-
You're arresting somebody with a hemp
you're
and
not under
agricultural
arrest
bill
right
that's
now,
legal
sir.
in
You're
your
not. You're
state.
just detained right now. You're not. So
You have-
you can. I would
Listen,
love to
listen.
learn. I would love
You don't need to learn
whatever
from
you
me
want
because
to.
you should know the law. You should know the law first of all. And this is not being detained.
Explain it to me. You're being detained right now.
This is not detained.
I mean, it didn't have to be with the handcuffs.
This is
but
called
you made it
this.
with the handcuffs.
This is detention. You can let you violate it. You want to violate it.
You don't have to.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
We have a J. Parkins,
Yes, Sergeant James.
James Parkins, a G. Pagano, and a J. Rannell that doesn't understand the agricultural bill of South Carolina that their own legislature has put into act. That's all that needs to be said.
So you don't want to explain it to me?
You guys should know the law.
I'd love to learn from
You don't need to learn from me.
I'd love to hear.
You're out here pursuing people, pulling people over. You should know the law before you pull anybody over. I don't need to educate you. Your attorneys and your own police force, you should know the law before you pull anybody over. It's not education. I'm just going to let you accept the consequences.
Okay, so this one's tricky for me. In South Carolina, hemp is legal, but there are important nuances, especially when dealing with law enforcement. So I looked it up, and I don't really have any more clarity on this one. Key points regarding hemp in South Carolina: federal and state legality. Hemp is legally defined as cannabis plant with THC level not more than 0.3%. I mean, just that first one alone, if you're going to test whether or not they have something in the car, you're going to have to test the material. It's on the burden of the state to prove that it is not considered marijuana, but if they test the individual via blood, I don't know if they're going to be able to tell the difference. But then again, I'm not sure what I mean, if there's a minimum of THC, like there's a BAC relative to what's in your bloodstream for the process of OWI. Key points: licensing for cultivation and processing. To cultivate, handle, or process hemp in South Carolina, a license from the South Carolina Department of Agriculture is required. I doubt Marcus has that. I doubt he's producing it. Hemp products such as CBD oil that meet the THC limit are legal for possession, transport, sale, and purchase without specific handler license for the in consumer. Unprocessed raw plant material. It is unlawful to possess the unprocessed or raw hemp plant without license from the SCDA. Smokable hemp. There has been legal concern regarding the legality of smokable hemp flower. Some opinions suggest that because it's been processed into a marketable form, it should be legal, but law enforcement still might be hesitant, and some store owners have pulled it from shelves to err on the side of caution.
It's not how I feel, it's how the law goes. You took an oath, right?
I'm sorry?
You took an oath, right?
Yes, sir.
Right, so you accept the consequence of your actions.
Yes, sir.
Right, so you know the law, right? So you should be asking me that. You should be asking lawyers that. Right?
I'm sorry?
You should be asking your solicitor, right?
About
About what you're asking me.
I didn't ask you anything.
You asked.
I asked you if you were willing to explain it to me.
Your solicitor should explain it to you. The one that's going to prosecute me in court, right?
Right. So
The one that's not going to bring me to court after this, right?
Alright, so you can explain it to me.
No, they can explain it to you. They can explain it to you.
Excellent.
I don't need to explain nothing to you because they ain't going to bring me to court.
Well, as of right now,
I
you're
don't
not
give a-
under
I don't-
arrest. You're
I'm
not
under
going to court
arrest
right
because
now.
you have it under me statutory detention.
Yeah.
Detention, sir. You're
It
just being
doesn't matter.
detained for
I'm detained for just in case you find a crime.
Okay.
That's unlawful.
Okay.
If you knew your oath, you would know that. You don't
Okay.
you don't arrest people and put them in the handcuffs just in case you can find something that they did wrong. You took an oath to that. You should know the oath you took.
I do.
You don't know the oath. But I'm going to make sure you guys know now. It's not personal, brother. Not at all. A lot of you law enforcement, not maybe sure y'all, maybe you're all honorable eventually, but this ain't honorable. Maybe when you know the law, you know, like, hey, we made a mistake, but not right now.
Hopefully I wasn't on mute in the last part.
Oath violation right on camera right now.
Oh, it's this one. All right, Marcus. Let's see where we're going with this one.
Look here. Shoes in public, right?
We do.
Oh.
Just for safety. He doesn't want to tell us to get anything.
You guys already searched me, asked me all that. Like,
We only first do now. We have to search you and send it to us.
Well, Marcus, it looks like you're getting arrested.
Yes.
Just make sure this is oath violation. Over here. Hey, young. Hold on.
Man, you look like somebody. I can't put my finger on it. God. It'll come to me.
Hey, stand there in front of my camera, please.
Man, fuck your camera, bro. Hey, young. Yo, this is the oath violation right here. Get them all. Jay Perkins. What's your name, bro?
Go ahead and take your
Hey,
shoe
young.
off.
I don't need to take my shoe off.
Facing forward.
Take your shoe off, please.
For what?
Because I need to search you before I take
So you
your
strip
shoe.
search people on the street?
No, I don't search.
Why are you taking my shoes off?
I need to look in your shoe.
Do you usually take searches, do you?
Look, Mr. Marcus, if you have an
You
issue
don't
with
usually-
what we're doing,
I do
you
have
got
an
your
issue with
camera
you doing.
filming, you can do whatever you want to do with that.
You're
We
you're
have hours as
declothing
well.
me
We're taking
in
your
public.
shoes off and checking
All
your
right,
shoes.
so you don't usually take shoes in public, right?
We do.
You don't.
We do.
All right,
You'll
so they
be stripped-
usually
you'll be-
take shoes off
You'll be checked
and
you'll be
derode
checked more
people
thoroughly
in public.
Remove your shoe.
But
You're gonna remove?
Just step out of it.
no, bro,
Right foot, just step out.
we're paying y'all.
You know you're used to getting pulled over when you can stay this calm, interact with your phone, with your own commentary while you have your hands behind your back in handcuffs.
to do your shit, right? Take my shoes off.
Please step out of it.
God, man, who do you look like?
Good. Here,
Think of basketball.
my shoes are. Right. Take my shoes off.
All right, they want to take his shoes off. Looks like he's taking his shoes off. Oh, by the way, I went with the mic button down today. All right, that's video 2. That's video 2. Let's see here. All right, video 3 coming up. I don't think there's much. I mean, but we saw Marcus get
That's too
arrested.
authoritative now.
I know this one's pretty anticlimactic. Climactic.
You gotta run away safe, right? The masters,
Left
right?
leg first.
Thank you, appreciate you.
All right. I'm just gonna fly through this one. Let's see, what do they do with your car? Alright. Phone goes in the bag with the personal belongings.
A little bit of cash.
Keeps it recording.
They might not let him have that.
Yeah. They can put that.
A weapon.
Have anything?
They're talking about the knife.
No, as far as weed, no. Yeah. You read. Yeah,
Marcus says it's not weed.
On the front of his.
That was on the front of his shirt.
Yeah. Can you just take the driver key off? I called for a record.
Continue searching after we found that.
We're flying through this on purpose. I don't want to bore you guys to death. Especially because I don't have anything really witty to say on this one. Alright, I'm going to build up to some of the more fun stuff. I just realized I played that whole... I just played that whole thing without playing the actual video. Anyway, just so Mark is taking his shoes off. Taking his shoes off, and then they put his phone in the bag. I mean, you heard it though, which is good. So they put his phone in the bag. He made some other comments. This is kind of so he's getting arrested. I don't really know what I mean the charge. I don't know if it was a possession charge or what it was. Honestly, I think that the case on that one's a little thin, but he loses a lot of credibility because, well, I'll show you. Let's go to the next video. This time I'll make sure I actually play the video.
We charge $500 for the pre-lay. Once we retain.
All right, so this is him recording himself talking to an attorney.
We enter our appearance on your behalf. Okay, do a full workup. Get all the options that are available to you. Go over those in detail. You make a decision. We get prepared for the hearing and execute.
Turn left onto Argent Boulevard.
Okay, I just had a couple questions.
Sure.
There is no victim in this case, right?
What do you mean there's no victim?
Wrong. There's a victim. It's the state.
In this case, the Commonwealth takes a place if there's not a physical human, right? So
Okay, they can't.
unless
be a
it's like
victim,
an assault, who, the Commonwealth?
yeah, they would be the state would be a third
Turn
party,
left onto Argent Boulevard.
uninterested party, right?
Not
And it doesn't require injury.
necessarily.
How are they not an uninterested party? They don't have any injuries.
Okay, so
All right, so let's see how it works. Not every citizen is going to act as an officer, and we're creating laws through legislation, laws and statutes, and by definition, a statute is a law. We're creating laws through our voting process, through our elected officials, through our legislation. We're paying our taxes. Since every citizen can't enforce these on an individual level, our tax money also goes to the police department to enforce these statutes and laws. Um, the prosecution represents the state, the people of the state in court when somebody violates these laws. The officers act as a witness because you do not have the right to question your accuser. You have a right to question the witnesses, which is typically the police officer in this scenario. A crime does not require a victim. Um, States can create laws to reduce risk. You know, if every crime required a victim, then frankly, more people would be hurt, more people would be injured, more people would speed. You know, you're not going to want everybody going 30 miles an hour through a residential area when your kids are playing outside and have no consequences. 99 times out of 100, it's going to be fine. Nobody's going to get hurt, but that one time is going to be devastating. So, no, not every crime requires a victim, or at least an injured party. Sorry, incorrect use of words. Injured party.
So if you violate a crime in the state of Pennsylvania, there doesn't need to be a human attached to it for you to still violate the crimes code.
Under common law, right?
No.
What jurisdiction are the courts under?
Okay, I know exactly where you're going with this. Okay.
It's like, I'm not going to back up this argument. There was a time where the U.S. did operate under common law. It's pretty much completely gone by 1830. There's some little pieces of it left around, and it's really mostly relative to relationships, as in marriage. But no,
that argument is not going to fly.
All right. So, but I still need an understanding. So, are these courts common law or?
The law does not require you to understand.
Or maritime admiralty jurisdiction.
No, this isn't a sovereign citizen situation.
Yeah, there is no such thing as a sovereign citizen. They don't exist. I understand.
No, there's such thing, and you are one of them, Marcus. If it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, I'm gonna add Van's comp. You know what? Hang on. I'm gonna let Van describe this one. He's just got. Hang on, where is he? Where is he? I think I've got the right video. Hang on. Let's make me small again. This one comes from Van Balian.
Today I'm going to take a look at a Zoom court hearing from Sovereign Citizens Cannot Exist, formerly the Marcus Mario channel. Yes, my videos triggered him so much he changed his channel name. He thinks because the term sovereign citizen is an oxymoron, they cannot exist somehow. Anyway, I've already covered 3 of his traffic stops already, 1 in Pennsylvania and 2 in South Carolina. But this is the first time we're going to see him in court. This is a triage hearing in Pennsylvania for drugs charges, and it's part of a bigger case against a corrupt organisation with 20 defendants. The DA has offered him a deal, but he wants to withdraw his not guilty plea, which got him released from jail, and he also wants to make other pseudo-legal arguments as well. But the judge, who isn't the trial judge, is not having any of it.
Well, dang. I didn't even follow what that case was about, but I'm gonna add that in here too, if I have time. My kids want to go to the pool. All right. So that's Vane's rebuttal to his non-sovereign citizenship. I mean, he's probably correct based on terminology, but you're a duck, Marcus. Man, I am off my game today. I must be tired. Surgery tomorrow.
Right, that's right.
So are these common law courts or are they maritime admiralty jurisdiction courts?
Well, you're not on a boat and you're not at war, so that gets rid of the whole maritime thing. And it's not common law. We just covered that.
Well, I think you
Statutory.
already know the answer to that, so why don't you tell me what you think it is?
Well, you guys are. I mean, you guys are
That was the best. That was the best answer he could have given. You already know the answer. What do you think it is?
attorneys, right? So you guys are supposed to be protecting, right?
Nope.
You guys are supposed to protect the property.
He's gonna protect you as a defense attorney.
The state's the trustee, right?
Look,
No.
I have the beneficial. I have the equitable title. So
sure, if you want to make that argument, that's fine. I can't help you with that, and that's why I understand what you're saying.
So you do understand what I'm saying, then, right?
I understand what you're saying. I understand your argument. What I'm saying
is
I've never
be in dishonor if I hired an attorney, then, right?
Okay, is that when you're going to represent yourself? Okay?
No, I'm not going to represent anything. I'm not representing anything. I am me, and they're obviously leading a named trust. So that's a DBA.
So he's going back and he's leaning on that 12 presumptions. Now I'm starting to understand something I didn't get before.
In Montgomery County, that's a published DPA right now, actually.
Okay, so then what you proceed as if you normally would. I mean, I guess where I'm at is I've been down this road a couple times, right? And so my point is that it's always the same. I'm not going to represent or have somebody, you guys don't want to hire me, right?
No, I want to know if I'd be in dishonor if I did hire an attorney. So I'm asking an attorney, am I in dishonor?
So the lawyer's he's interviewing a lawyer. He's got this case. I'm assuming it's the case we're just looking at. And the lawyer's like, I've been down this road before. You're gonna ask me a bunch of questions. You're gonna challenge everything that you're gonna challenge in court, and then you're not gonna end up hiring me. And this phone call is gonna be a waste of my time. I noticed there's 14 minutes left on this part of the video, and there's a part 2 to this. So he's got him on the hook right now. But yeah, I mean, everything the lawyer is thinking is going to come true.
If I hire an attorney by arguing the case and not just saying, "Hey, this is what's going on."
No, and I know where you're coming from, and I've had people who have hired us to represent them, and have had those personal opinions on the situation, such as yourself. I've had other people who would ask me the same questions you have, and I tell them that that's a decision for you.
The right to trial has been. I mean, that's on the books. I mean, that's been on the books. So I guess since I asked this officer if he was accepting liability on the scene, he accepted liability on the scene, and I have 2 witnesses to that with sworn statements.
Right, and all I'm telling you, in all my time, I've never seen the argument that you're putting forth work. I've actually seen the opposite.
Right, because
judges have just gone nuts.
Yeah, I know, because in Montgomery County, I mean, from my experience before I used to always hire Doug Breidenbach, and he already let me know that Montgomery County doesn't follow their own rules. They expect everybody else to, but they don't.
No, that's not the reason. The reason is because it's junk. I mean, you're going from your 12 presumptions, which we just discovered is relative to Roman law, which precedes anything modern by at least. Oh my God.
Follow their own.
I can't even tell you the last date the Romans were
considering. I'm just trying to reconcile the situation with a county that doesn't follow their own code. 2000? And obviously is administering property even when people expressed the trust, and according to the Bankruptcy Act in 1933, and there not being any lawful species of money to settle debts with, especially with the Clearfield Doctrine, since they're using Federal Reserve notes, they don't have any sovereignty. We're not even stating, I mean, you said something about a sovereign citizen. They don't even exist. Lawfully, they don't even exist. So I don't understand why that term, that's the first go-to term that I hear in every case that this is talked about. Yet, when I get into court, they never talk about sovereign citizens. And they never talk about that stuff because that stuff's not even relevant.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So, no, I do. That's the common term. That's
everybody being in the position of a public trust, I don't want to be in dishonor, and I wanted to ask an attorney first, so I don't have it wrong. You know what I mean?
South Carolina.
Yeah. So what I'm saying to you is I am the wrong guy to ask that, because while I fundamentally understand the arguments, I don't necessarily have an opinion on that.
Okay, I respect that.
And I know what you're saying. I hear you. Believe me, I hear you.
Right.
Okay? I don't know. I don't have a position on that at this time, so I don't want to give you something that I'm not confident in. Okay.
So theoretically, right? Say I were to hire you, with the situation that's going on now, being that the officer already accepted liability, and obviously he understands what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I understand what you're talking about. I understand it because I've heard it a bunch of times, but I really don't understand it in the context of it doesn't make any freaking sense. Again, you're talking about these 12 presumptions under Roman rule, and I should have known this off the top of my head, but it looks like the 1453 was the last date of Roman rule with the fall of Constantinople on the eastern side, Eastern Roman Empire. The Western Roman Empire ended in almost 500 AD.
Maybe he does. Maybe he does.
How would we go? Right, you're right. You're right. I respect that.
Well, okay. So let me tell you how these things have played out. I think this will answer your question.
Okay.
Okay. I don't necessarily think that you're going to end up hiring us when you do your homework. Second off, I think that. So.
I think I'm not going to be your legal secretary, your paralegal, your investigator.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Why don't you tell me? I'm pretty sure I don't want to assume. So why don't you tell me what you
Okay. All right. So someone charges something, right?
Like no hands.
When they bring me in there, they're gonna try to give me a bail bond, right? So that's basically me bonding his claim. But I'm not responsible to bond his claim because he's the one making the claim. And I know that it's not a lawful claim because there's no damages. So and if there's any bills or anything, he's not presenting what that is for me to settle or pay off. You know what I'm saying? So since the securities will be created when I get to the preliminary, and they're obviously not going to use them to discharge, they're going to try to have me go to jail and go through all that hullabaloo.
Good word. Hullabaloo. Is he driving a Tesla?
They're in dishonor immediately by trying to lodge charges to a property and not being the beneficiary title holder. And if I say that I'm not the surety, and I'm
it was a GMC
I'm not the
Terrain,
trustee, because that's not how the Bankruptcy Act worked. Then they would be, the state's always in a position of public trust. They would be violating that public trust in order to move forward and have me bond a claim that they're responsible for.
Right.
And if I argue with it, if I argue that, and say I just...
You're going to argue just hullabaloo, to use your words, because you're mixing Roman presumptions with the 33 Bankruptcy Act, and then you're trying to combine it with modern statutes and then mix it in with a little bit of 1870s common law. And this lawyer's like, dude, how am I going to get off this phone call? But hey, maybe I might land this guy as a client because he makes sense to himself.
Okay, cool. I'll take, whatever it is you're charging, let's settle it. How much is that I owe? They're not going to give me any bill. It's basically like they're not giving me any relief to settle.
So I understand that.
You know what I mean? So
because it's not all civil.
Right, but hang on,
because I'm not just accepting.
I know, but hang on one second for me, okay? Because here's the part where I don't want to comment on that. Because in this scenario, there's two systems. The system that you just put forth, and the system that I've been working in for years, and hundreds, thousands of
the real system, the legal
attorneys
system
have been working in. Right? I'm not saying that I don't disagree with you or any of that stuff. All I'm saying is that I've heard these arguments put forth, and every time I've kind of challenged to learn, okay, I still get at the point where it's like
they don't let you budge.
Well, nobody budges, right? Because that's the way. Because over on the right-hand side, in the land that I'm living in, right?
Public side.
There's the public side, right?
Right.
And so that land is what everybody works and lives in.
Normally, yes.
Normally, correct.
But once and then go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
And so my point is what I don't want to do, okay, is comment on your side where I don't have what the working knowledge that you have.
Okay.
Okay. So if you're going to choose to go down that side and make that argument, and here's kind of the way I explain it. Okay.
Right.
If you want to stay on your side, okay, where we're arguing gold fringe on a flag, right? And 1871 Act.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you're going to stay on that side by yourself. Okay. Or just not with me. If you want to go on the public side, then that's where we're at to get you in and out of this. Okay, so we don't have to deal with this crap.
Yeah, I understand.
Oh, he's gonna try to pay him in. He's gonna try to pay him in promissory notes and crayons anyway. So I don't know why this lawyer's still on this phone call, but I'm gonna let it play out. At least for I'm gonna let the first half of this just play out.
I think where you and I can agree is this, and please, I mean this with the utmost respect, and I'm not being disrespectful.
And I'm not taking it disrespectfully. I appreciate
you and I think you and I both know what's going on in this world.
Right.
Okay, and Marcus Cross is not going to be the individual who breaks the public side. Right?
Well, you're saying Marcus Cross. I mean, that's still claiming the trust. You know what I mean?
I know.
I mean, I could be Marcus.
I love that comment, by the way. I know it says he's gonna let it play out.
Who holds your birth certificate, right?
Yeah, I hold the birth certificate.
Mine.
You know what I mean? I'll bring that to court. You know.
No, I know, but who actually owns it? It's like paper, right? I get it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Now you got it, right?
Yeah.
Look, I'm telling you, I understand what you're saying, but my point is that those two have to be clearly separate, in my opinion, because I took an oath and I'm over here in the public side, okay? So I've got to follow those rules, that law, because I'm held to those standards.
Right, now when you say an oath, do you mean an oath to the Constitution or oath to the bar? Because if it was oath to the Constitution, then this shouldn't be an issue.
Well, okay, again, that's where the delineation comes, okay? So all I'm saying at this point is if you want to go over on this side and work in the public side, that's fine.
I mean, I told him I don't want to work in the public side. I mean, that's consensual. You know what I mean? And so if I were to do that, that means that I'm being extorted.
Well, okay, again, I understand your argument. I do. But until that all changes, that's the land that I live in.
Understood.
Whether I agree with it or not.
The commercial realm, yeah.
That's the commercial realm, right?
Right. So being that this commercial, then it would have to be a meeting of the minds, and that's what I'm not getting here. I mean,
well, because you're taking a fundamental approach to it, kind of a constitutional approach. I mean, all the back all the history that everybody seems to forget or just skews and slices and dices however they want. I mean, I get it, but I'm not saying you. I'm just saying everyone in general, right? But what I'm saying is that you've been charged with a statutory infraction. Okay, with the weapons and stuff. So if you want to be on the other side, on the public side, then we can help you, but we've got to follow that, right? Because judges in that world don't want to hear what you're saying.
Right, but I mean, then I got to acquiesce to being a fictional entity, and I'm not a fictional entity.
I get it.
I'm not a state-created being, and if that means that I'm being extorted to say that I'm a fiction of law, that's fraud. That's like, isn't that some type of swindle?
Well, that's up for you to decide.
It's just common sense. I mean, I can't be a thing.
No, I get it.
I can't be a name trust.
I get it, Marcus. I get it. Right.
you
know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know what you mean.
I understand what you're saying. You only got a certain amount of room to operate.
Look. You're hearing me, and I'm hearing you, and I'm telling you how I can help you.
Understand.
And if your line in the sand is not to come over to that side, then I can't help you. That's what I'm saying.
I guess what I'm saying is, me coming over there puts me in dishonor because there's not any type of conditional acceptance, and if you're not familiar with the conditional acceptance, then I'm just screwed, basically paying back the money they're trying to pocket and the securities that they're trying to create in my name and extort me for, and that they're going to extort me for when I get there on February, if I make a general appearance.
And like I said to you a couple minutes ago, if you do your homework, you probably won't end up hiring me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I did a lot of homework, and I guess that's why it's like, all right. So I just wrapped up something in Montgomery County.
How long have you been doing this homework?
About 14 years.
Okay, good.
And I didn't want to believe it. You know what I mean? So I wasn't proactive until I started getting enough false cases to where I had attorneys look at the cases and realize that they're like, hey, this pretty much looks like extrinsic fraud. And at that point, I was like, well, I'm not going to win against a bunch of attorneys that are doing extrinsic fraud. I'm not an attorney. I'll never win. So then I was like, all right, well, how do I get an attorney to help me out with extrinsic fraud? The last attorney that I had basically entered false information into the record for 2 years in Georgia. And so when I went there in February, I entered a piece of paperwork, and I haven't heard from them again yet. I'm still waiting for them to give me a new court date. But I went back and I found, I went and got the information off the books. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Sorry about that. I had a situation where my father had hired an attorney for me in Georgia. Back when the start of these kind of weird situations started happening. And normally I just hire an attorney. But the experience that I just had with the case in Georgia is the reason I'm hesitant now, because when I dealt with the one in Montgomery County, at the last minute he switched up what I'd be pleading guilty to a number of years ago on the stand. And then further talk to that attorney, he just let me know, he's like, Montgomery County doesn't follow their own codes. So that kind of made me feel like, as far as Montgomery County, I'm in a lose-lose situation.
Turn right onto Bellinger
So
Cove,
I
then your
kind
destination will be on the
of
left.
expressed the trust last court hearing, and the judge accepted the fiduciary trustee position, and then tried to back up on it, and said that she'd only accept it if I pled guilty to a citation, which then puts the liability back on me. And at that point, nobody really wanted to go to trial, so they just sentenced me to a citation. And
welcome home.
$500 isn't that expensive. It's just that.
Yeah, but I'm not going to be arguing, and my team isn't going to be arguing the things that you want us to argue. Which is why I don't think that this is going to be a good fit for either of us.
Okay, so basically they don't uphold any constitutional rights or anything like that.
No, I'm not going to say that. You asked them, and they said they do.
It's a puppy dog. I didn't even notice the puppy dog.
And you ask me, and I say I do. Right?
Yeah, but I mean, the simple fact that people are stopped, are presumed and assumed to be in commerce, and then when they correct the record, like say I correct the record, is my sworn statement going to be ignored? Because that's what we seem to be.
Yeah, it's gonna get ignored.
Getting into it's like I make a sworn statement and then they ignore it and they don't want to listen to me.
It's because you're not making a statement about the alleged crime. You're making a statement about the Roman presumption system.
And they say, we can't talk to you as a man. Well, I understand you can't talk to me as that. You can't talk to me. You need to talk to an attorney. So they just ignore me, and that's, as a beneficiary, that's dishonorable. And that's a violation of the public.
All right, that's part one of the phone call. Let me sneak into part two real quick. All right, so we got Marcus, who's basically, he's talking to an attorney. He's talking about, in his case, he spends most of the time trying to get the attorney to agree with him and his points, for some sort of validation. For what reason, I don't know. The attorney's clearly drawing a line in the sand, saying anything you say and do, I'm not going to be a part of. If you research my firm, if you research what we do, and you decide to hire us, we're going to do it our way. And if you don't want to do it our way, it's not going to make sense for either one of us, because we're not going to present the arguments that you want to make in court. Which any attorney is going to say the same thing. Any reputable, reasonable attorney is going to say the same thing, right? You're not going to argue, 14, God, Roman presumptions and trustees. You're not a fictional entity. You're a living, breathing human. Your name is on there regardless of if it's in caps or partially uppercased. Oh God. Let's see how much left is in this phone call.
Trust.
At least we got a puppy dog. At least we got a little dog. He's excited. He's home. Dog's home. Get me inside. I'm hungry. I want some snacks. All right. Let's make me small. Let's bring this back. And 2 minutes left.
Once that declaration is made, you know what I mean? And
No,
that's just what, you know, I can go into the public, but there's also a way to play public offense. And with defense, I mean, just the simple word is defense, no fence. I don't get any protection having a defense. So I mean, it's just,
your defense are based on the merits of the crime. And to be honest with you, Marcus, if this is based on the traffic stop we just saw, and I don't think it is, I think it's based on the other case that Van just mentioned. You might have a decent defense. I mean, I don't think you have enough to win a case, but I think you might have enough to get a dismissal. I don't know what the police grabbed from your car, but that's the best you can hope for in this scenario. And you can guarantee if it does get dismissed, it's definitely going to be without prejudice. Based on how often you get arrested, they're probably going to pursue you for something.
seems like procedurally they don't provide any protection. It's just a defense into a default judgment because I'm arguing. So I'm bound to lose.
You're bound to lose for the same reason that every sovereign citizen loses their case. They're arguing the wrong points. You're arguing jurisdiction. You're arguing misinterpreted case law. You're arguing codes and statutes that don't exist. You're arguing common law, which isn't used. You're arguing, I mean, you even mentioned the two jurisdictions, which are, I mean, they don't even exist anymore. You know, I don't even. Oh man, again, I'm off my game today, but you're on the flat Earth, and the rest of us are spinning in orbit.
I'm just trying to figure out how do I get an attorney and pay all that money, and I'm still gonna lose. That just seems like a waste. You know what I mean?
What kind of priors do you have in your record?
All of it is basically
Is it all
marijuana
is it all weapons
charges.
stuff?
No, because they just decide to do that when they can't get anything else. So I wasn't manufacturing, repairing, or anything a prohibited offensive weapon. And they didn't find any weed in the car either.
See what I mean? You might have some sort of a case. So it sounds like he's calling the attorney based on multiple charges, maybe multiple cases.
You know, and they went into a locked container.
Did you give him permission?
No.
I mean, to be honest, you might even have enough to be found not guilty, but you're not going to do it on the merits. You're not going to do it based on the argument you want to present.
And it's not in the warrant either. Everything was under duress, and it's all videotaped. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand what this officer thinks he's trying to do with the amount of incriminating, like, based on what we talked about, he's going to be in total violation moving forward because he's been put on notice several times. I mean, I'm about to do a written notice, but he's been verbally notified twice, and he's on camera accepting liability and accepting the fiduciary trustee position, which is the honorable thing to do. So I'm just trying to figure out how he's going to back himself out of this with everything that's already on the record and going to be on the record. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Why don't you take some time to think about it?
Okay.
Let me know what you want to do.
Okay, I appreciate that. And 500 is a fair price compared to.
That's for the prelim though. I mean, this is going to probably go pretty far, so it might be more than that.
Okay.
You realize that probably, right?
Yeah. I figured it'd probably be into the thousands.
I'm assuming that's the hourly, but could be talking. Is he talking about the arraignment? Maybe.
All right. Well, just keep me posted. Just keep me posted. All right.
Okay.
Let me know what you want to do, and then we'll go from there. Okay.
All right, I definitely will, and I appreciate your honesty.
You guys, sir. Talk to you
Thank you.
soon.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
There you have it. That's that's Marcus for you. Okay, so let me just give you a little background on some Marcus for you. Hang on. All right, so again, I didn't intend to have so much sovereign citizen stuff in my channel. And then I come across Marcus, and when I come across Marcus, I find a whole bunch, a whole bunch of Marcus. Now, when he's saying, okay, it's pretty much all marijuana charges. Let me show you what I mean. Let me find it. So Marcus has got a channel, and you just saw that Van. Let me see. I might have it open in another thingy. Hang on. So Marcus used to have a channel. Then he changed the name of the channel. He moved his content. Then you find Van Balian, who finds the new stuff, and then Van. Oh, I found myself in two different places. Oh my god, dude. Hold on. Oh, I got one other video. I totally forgot about this. I started it and didn't go back to it. This is Van's. You know, Van's just got a much smoother voice. Let's just let him do it. Let's just let Van do it. But anyway, what I was gonna say is that Van's got a. Let's see. Wait, where'd he go? Van's got a whole playlist on this guy. So I put a link to Van's channel. I didn't put the individual video because I think I put the link to the playlist, but he's got a whole playlist on this guy. All right, let me make sure you guys can see it. I see black. It shouldn't be black.
And it's part of a bigger case against a corrupt organisation.
All right, that's not right. Hang on. There we go.
With 20 defendants. The DA has offered him a deal, but he wants to withdraw his not guilty plea, which got him released from jail, and he also wants to make other pseudo-legal arguments as well. But the judge, who isn't the trial judge, is not having any of it.
Okay, so he's in Zoom court. He's in court. He's representing himself regardless of his definition of the word or understanding of it.
As of March of 2020, and we are triaging them and finding out what's going to occur with them, how, if we can, to resolve minor charge of paraphernalia. I can tell you from my perspective, they are trying to move the cases that are not, that critically important from a community safety standpoint. So, at this stage, I think the offer is what, paraphernalia to what, Ms. Mills?
I had offered time served as 12 months, and I told Mr. I'd do 12 time served as 6 months.
Okay, so essentially then, that to me is like, okay, that's a sentence that, is compared to what could potentially happen. Now, jury trials are not going to be offered probably in cases such as this, large as this, until at least 2022. And it's going to take a while. I can tell you from my experience as a trial judge, I'm not sure I'd want to be part of bigger cases if I'm going along as a, as a defendant. Now you have the option, because we are offering bench trials, to go forward with a bench trial if you would want to. And that way you sever your case away from them. I don't know whether that option will be available when we are offering jury trials again. The reason it's available now is because people have the Rule 600 rights, and if they want a jury trial, then Rule 600, if you will, is suspended. But if you requested a bench trial, then it's our obligation to get you scheduled within the next month for a bench trial. So do you at least think you understand the overall perspective of what we're doing here for triage?
Sounds fairly straightforward to me. He has three options available to him: plead guilty and accept the deal, go for a bench trial which he can have within a month, or go for the jury trial, which will be part of the bigger corruption organisation case the judge mentioned, but won't happen for months. So this isn't the hearing for any shenanigans, you're there simply to choose one of the three. So let's see where he takes this.
I comprehend the process. I'm not
He's starting to comprehend, but I'm just sitting here thinking, if I just walk around with an English or South African, or I mean, I'll even take Irish, an accent, I just do that for months. Do you think it'll stick?
comprehending so much with some of the situations with the case, but I do understand, I do comprehend. I'm sorry, it's not the process that you're speaking of.
Essentially, what do you think you want to do at this time?
As are you talking about a plea?
Right, you have to hear.
Yes.
I have to, one way or the other, this case has to go into either it's a plea.
Okay.
And again, it sounds like they've offered to much less than what you were charged with for a time served of 6 months.
Okay.
If it is not a plea, then the question is, do you want a bench trial that I will schedule within the next 30 days? And if you don't want a bench trial, then the case just defaults. It's a jury trial, and you remain part of all of the defendants that are in the corrupt organization case. Those are really the three choices. So there's no record here. If you're telling me what your perspectives on the case, I mean,
I have a record, sir. I have a record, sir.
The Commonwealth claims they can prove the charges against you. You claim they can't. Mr. Hood is a great lawyer. It's just really how do you want this to play out, I guess.
Well, I didn't ask for a lawyer. I was given one.
I didn't ask for what? I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. I was to my understanding that I have the right to assistance in counsel. I was given a lawyer first when I was in custody. That lawyer walked off when I asked about an injured party or any damages, a way to settle any claim that's been made to invoke the Article 3 court.
That's a much better way to do it. Just walk away.
You know, for someone who claims sovereign citizens don't exist, you sure do a damn good impression of proving they do. Injured parties, settling claims, and Article 3 courts are all sovereign citizen buzzwords. And of course your lawyer walked off. Public defenders don't have enough time or get paid enough to deal with that BS.
And I wasn't given any.
Yeah, some reason you have a driver's license, registration, and insurance.
The warrant was written 3 days before the incident happened, so I'm trying to figure out how a warrant was put out before an incident from the future happened. And then also, there were a couple other points, but those were the ones that I was trying to understand.
No, the answer is guilty, not guilty, bench trial, jury trial.
At first.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can't go into the detail other than in these corrupt organization cases, you know, they're pretty involved investigations. And look, I'm not judging whether the Commonwealth can meet their burden of proving you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt or not.
Yes.
I know that in terms of, you know, some of the motions, so the motion to, you know, suppress or whatever, I mean, we can hear them at a bench trial. Some of your procedural issues could get heard at a bench trial. But I can't answer those questions. I just know that Mr. Hood is an excellent attorney. We were just commenting on a case that he was rather successful on. He's good. Whether, you know, he's good for you, you know, not really a determination to make. I mean, by the nature of, you know, he's court appointed because of the conflicts. So,
okay.
I don't know if I can answer that question as to.
May I ask, what are the charges that are being charged with? all the charges full.
Well, right now, you're essentially in this larger trial. I guess he would be treated as an end purchaser. Is that correct, Ms. Mills?
Yes, Your Honor. He's charged with possession. He's charged with simple possession under A16, receipt and commerce under A19, and then paraphernalia under A32.
You know the only word you listened to there was commerce, but we'll come back to that in just over a minute.
And what would that end up if he went to trial with all the rest and he got convicted? Are there guidelines that are higher than what you're offering?
Yes, Judge. On the A19, the guidelines would be 6 to 16 months. On the A16, I believe there would be 6 to 16 months. On the A16, the simple possession, so if he's found guilty of simply possessing any controlled substance, it would be 3 to 14 months of the guidelines.
All right. So what guidelines simply mean is if you were convicted, what is a range that a judge can sentence you in? So I don't know how long you were in jail, how much credit you have towards that. But again, that's not something right now that's important. It only becomes important if you say, I want my jury trial. I want to go to trial with all the other members of this corrupt organization who are alleged to have done something. I know what I did, but I didn't do what they did. And after the trial, if they convicted you of possession, then that's just a sentencing range, that's all.
I comprehend that. So this is a commercial transaction, right? I heard you say something about commerce. This is a legal agreement, like a legal contract.
No, your charges are not a commercial transaction, a legal agreement, or a contract. That's not how law works. Commerce in this case refers to your charge for the alleged purchase of drugs through a business, which is allegedly a corrupt organisation. That's all it means.
What is?
This whole case. I mean, law is upheld by contract, so somehow I had to have some type of contract. Do I have? Is this? At least is this?
Receipt in commerce is just a way, meaning that they're charging you with possession of the drugs that came through some kind of corrupt organization. I mean, that's it's very simplistic. If you didn't possess those drugs, then you shouldn't plead guilty to anything.
Right. I didn't want to make a plea at all.
If you felt that that the Commonwealth can't prove their case, then take a bench trial. I'm just telling you, if you do nothing, which is appears that you're just not sure whether you want to make a decision today, then the case goes on a jury trial list. You can always make a decision at a later date in the future, I guess. But
I guess I would like to rescind any pleas that I made, because all the pleas were made while I was incarcerated. I didn't have any choice to do that but to get out.
So then it was your choice then? You chose to enter a not guilty plea due to your circumstances. Now you want to rescind or withdraw your plea because now it's convenient. Only rescinding a plea is not really a thing. You either withdraw a guilty plea or plea of no contest. The default plea is not guilty. But I know you're playing the Sovcit game of not entering a plea because you think the court doesn't have jurisdiction over you for you to even enter a plea, which of course is total BS.
If I was on the street free, I would have been able to make different decisions, and I would have handled the whole case much differently than I'm being forced to now. And I guess that I just like the opportunity to be able to totally comprehend what's going on.
You are not being forced to do anything. I'm simply telling you these are the only options as of today. I can't go back and correct the past. Nobody can. And whether you were incarcerated, whether you weren't, I'm just saying today as a triage judge, that you have a guilty plea. If I've been on the bench for 20 years, if I'm looking at them going, I don't know, I'd look at it more like, shall I take this to get it over with? I'm not serving any more time. The parole will be over. But you should not look at it that way. If you legitimately say, I didn't do anything wrong, and I'm going to make the Commonwealth prove it against me.
Yeah,
I'm saying if you want to do that, we have a bench trial for that.
I comprehend that, sir. I'd actually like to.
You want a bench trial?
No, I'd like to rescind any plea at all.
something that you haven't taken. So you're using the wrong word. Don't rescind it. You just you don't want to take a plea. And you don't want a bench trial. That's really where we are.
Well, I guess I mean I'd like to withdraw the plea and rescind any signature that I made.
You haven't made a plea, sir. You haven't made a plea.
Was a not guilty plea entered?
You haven't made any plea.
Was a not guilty plea entered?
Pardon me?
Was a not guilty plea entered by the attorney?
Yes, you entered a not guilty.
I didn't enter a plea.
That was many months ago.
Right. I guess that's the particular signature plea that I'm talking about.
There are only 3 types of pleas in criminal court: guilty, not guilty, and no contest. That's it. There is no 4th plea where you stay neutral and hope for the best. Stop listening to people like Mark Stevens because they've never won a case using this ridiculous strategy.
I like to go through the
He never entered a guilty plea in this case. He never entered a guilty plea, did he?
No, a not guilty plea. I didn't want to enter empty plea. I wanted the opportunity to speak in court at my first hearing without being coerced or under duress to get myself out of a dangerous situation. I could be in a safe situation and be able to make conscious decision without being.
Well, I hope you feel safe. And there's nothing here. Today is just a decision that you want this to hang over you. That's okay. And when we are giving jury trials, you're going to be part of the group. And that's, when it's going to be a long period of time. So
I comprehend. I saw that there was an adjoinder in there. So I'm sorry?
Pardon me?
I saw that there was an adjoinder in there. So I took the liberty to go to the law library while I was there, and I saw that the adjoinder was illegal. So I'm just wondering how I'm gonna be attached to this.
Look, Mr. Hood is your lawyer.
Okay.
If you say it's illegal, and when we're back up and running, then you'll file a motion saying joinder's illegal. I'm offering you the opportunity right now to split off from that group.
Yes, that's what I'm going to do.
I will sever your case and send you to a bench.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean whether it's legal or not legal. It's just a practical way of getting your case moving.
I comprehend. I saw that they applied for the adjoinder, and I saw that they can't apply for the adjoinder in this particular situation when I reviewed the law. But I don't want to.
But they did.
Illegally. Okay.
And the question is, you need to be in a forum.
Okay.
Which we will get to someday.
Okay, the proper forum.
Okay. A forum to where you'll say, I still want a jury trial, and I want my case severed, and I want my own individual jury trial. I get that.
Yes.
And you can do that, and it sounds like that's where we're headed. But
I would like to kind of go back to where I was before Mr. Hood entered any plea for me.
You mean back in jail before your lawyer got you out on that not guilty plea? Funny how he used a lawyer when it was convenient to him.
You haven't gone anywhere else.
Yeah, but there's a non-guilty plea. I didn't make a plea. I haven't been able to talk to Mr. Hood. He doesn't answer my emails or anything. I saw him the other day when I went to the courthouse to enter some information into the record.
You want to talk to him now, or?
Did they receive the information that I entered into the record the other day when I saw Mr. Hood at the courthouse?
What?
I entered paperwork into the record for review because I had a hard time getting a hold of anybody to talk to anybody about this case. I believe I sent a letter from the jail asking for the discovery. And I still, it's a false case, so I'm still trying to figure out why this court was invoked in the first place.
Discovery. There's Mr. Hood. Does he have your contact information?
Okay.
You can talk to him. What I'm going to do now, Mr. Cross, I am going to just, at this stage, default the case to a trial. And, when we're offering trials, Mr. Hood will be representing you unless you decide to represent yourself or you obtain private counsel on your own. So you think you understand that?
I comprehend that I want to withdraw or rescind any signature that Mr. Hood did, and then I'd like to do whatever you...
I don't know what that means, though, sir. I just don't know what it means. You want to rescind signatures.
My legal malpractice attorney understood he understands what it means.
Well, that's where you're going wrong. You need a criminal defense lawyer for a criminal case, not a legal malpractice lawyer. And what kind of lawyer is he if he thinks you can withdraw a not guilty plea?
don't know. I guess I'm just being guided by the wrong lawyer.
First sensible thing he said yet.
I'm not sure.
You only have one attorney, and that attorney's Mr. Hood. Your options are, in the future, we're not doing anything. This is the last time somebody will look at your case for at least another 6 or 7 months. This is it. So things will remain the same, and when the courts are ready to host the jury trial, and this corrupt organization case comes up, that'll be your jury trial. That's when it'll happen. All right?
I mean, I'm not sure I have much of a decision. Yeah.
I don't think he was talking to the lawyer about the lawyer though. He was talking to him on the phone because I know he didn't give him that advice.
I'm not.
Changes. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, I don't really understand exactly what you mean. But I like to rescind and withdraw any previous plea until we have some type of.
Okay, we will mark the file. You withdraw anything previously that you did not do. So,
yes.
So a negative on a negative. You didn't do anything. So
Yeah, he did. He did.
Mr. Hood, your counsel. No, he didn't file anything. Okay. He didn't file anything. But
Okay.
He just did it.
Would I be able to get that file from him? Okay. Well, I'm sorry that we couldn't conclude the case today, Judge O'Neill.
Well, you're going on a jury trial list, and we'll bring it up again when we start with that jury trial. All right?
Yes, Your Honor.
I mark that.
Did the courts receive those documents that I entered? I was just curious.
No.
Okay. All right.
I'm not the trial judge, and we're just not working in that regard right now. We have 8,000 cases in our backlog.
Understood, Judge O'Neill.
Okay, so yeah, that's where the video ended, but the hearing was all but over anyway. And he decided to take his case to jury trial, or rather the judge did, which of course is his right. Let me know what you think about this one in the comments, guys, and yes, that includes you, Marcus.
Yeah, I changed my clothes. I'm taking my daughter to the pool. Standard sovereign citizen court appearance. Thanks for hanging in there with me. I'm gonna find out how Marcus looks like Van's on top of it. So as long as Van is okay with me using his videos from time to time, which I've done more than I assumed I would. Yeah, it looks like Marcus. I'm not sure what happened there. The judge said that he would remove any whatever comments, filings, etc. But Van just said he put it on for jury trial, so I'm assuming they kept the not guilty plea on record, even though he wanted a blank plea. But oh man, I'm gonna take my daughter to the pool. I've got 2 more videos to do. One more sovereign citizen, and the other one's gonna be going a completely different direction. We're gonna talk about women's sports, equal pay, U15 beating Sweden, and I don't know. I'm not gonna post anything tomorrow because I've got surgery. That's probably gonna take me out for a couple days. So anyway, if you found this video, just give me a little bit of time to work on this videography and just everything. I don't know. This is a mess, but I keep finding stuff. So maybe if I cut Mia a little bit more to keep more of the content in there, it'll be a little more fun. Although I think I'm pretty fun. Anyway, thanks for joining.